The city is the most complex and magnificent civilization that humanity has created through evolution. Forests and meadows have disappeared, replaced by asphalt and skyscrapers. However, with every city that humans build, the rest of the flora and fauna have to engage in a life and death adaptation to the changed environment and compete between species. In this process, those unable to adapt were either extinct or pushed outside the city. Even now, species unable to adapt to electromagnetic waves are quietly disappearing. The survivors we commonly encounter in the city are undoubtedly the winners of this fierce competition and adaptation process. One such creature that is now receiving attention is the pigeon. Pigeons have conquered parks and squares in major cities around the world. Other birds couldn't muster the courage to challenge the pigeon's domain. What kind of animal was the pigeon that allowed it to roam and thrive in human spaces? Pigeons originally nested on coastal cliffs, their ancestors were rock doves. About 10,000 years ago, as Mesopotamians and Egyptians began cultivating them for consumption, the long history of human-pigeon interaction commenced. As human civilization advanced dramatically, villages gradually upgraded to urban centers. While urbanization displaced most wildlife, pigeons were an exception. In fact, with a bit of luck, they found significant opportunities to become a dominant species. Humans built cities near the seashore and rivers, environments pigeons naturally favor. As the name rock pigeon suggests, they prefer hard surfaces like concrete, stone, and marble over land and meadows. Animals, in reality, do not distinguish between artificial and natural elements. They just adapt. In this regard, pigeons easily adapted to the increasing height of buildings, as these structures resembled the natural cliffs they were accustomed to. Features like windowsills, outdoor units of air conditioners, protruding balconies, and large billboards mimic the crevices of cliffs, making them optimal places for pigeons to nest. This is why even today, cities like London, Venice, Istanbul, New York, situated near large rivers and seas, have a disproportionately high number of pigeons. Thanks to humans inadvertently creating cities and environments familiar to pigeons, they had a significant advantage in adapting right from the start compared to other animals and plants. However, becoming the winner in this complex urban environment required more than that, especially solving the crucial issue of food. In this regard, one could argue that pigeons are, in fact, the most suitable birds for urban environments. While most birds need to rely on fruits, insects, or what nature provides, pigeons were true omnivores. They could eat anything humans ate, whether it was cookies, bread, or potato chips. The ability to consume food discarded by humans became the differentiating factor that set pigeons apart from other animals. As cities grew and populations became more concentrated, posing a threat to the survival of other animals, pigeons, on the contrary, could reliably find more food. The reason pigeons concentrate in parks or squares in urban areas is also due to the gathering of people in these places. With this abundance of food in the city, pigeons no longer had to struggle to find sustenance. Easily obtaining the daily requirement of 20 to 50 grams anywhere in the urban sprawl, they found themselves with newfound time. What did they do with it? They turned their attention to breeding. The resolution of feeding challenges in the urban environment accentuated the difference between city pigeons and other animals. Typically, pigeons mate once or twice a year, laying 2 eggs at a time. However, urban pigeons, with an abundance of resources, reproduce prolifically, often having more than 10 chicks in a year. Moreover, not only do they produce numerous offspring, but the survival rate is also remarkably high. This is partly due to a special diet known as pigeon milk. Supplied by both male and female parents, pigeon milk is a concentrated nutritional substance containing proteins, fats, and various immune components. Thanks to this nutritious provision, pigeon chicks grow rapidly, achieving independence in just 4 to 6 weeks. This gives them a significant competitive advantage over other animals. Pigeons only cease breeding when there is a scarcity of food, a phenomenon observed not just locally but globally. Similar to cat moms who provide food for stray cats, there are pigeon moms who supply food to pigeons. Appealing to them for restraint is also an attempt to reduce food and, in turn, suppress reproduction even by a small margin. Another factor that works in favor of pigeons in the city is the absence of significant predators. In the natural world, pigeons' predators include eagles, peregrine falcons, and hawks, but these birds have relatively low populations. Moreover, pigeons are skilled in evasive maneuvers, abruptly stopping in mid-flight and changing direction. Even if higher predators exist in the city, catching pigeons is extremely challenging. In urban environments, their main threats are limited to rodents and domestic cats. However, pigeons' keen senses make them less vulnerable, even to these limited threats. One of the reasons why wildlife finds it challenging to survive in urban areas is the complex city structure, with buildings and roads constantly appearing and disappearing, making animal movement very difficult. However, pigeons, having been used as messengers for delivering letters long ago, are exceptional navigators. They seem to be born with an extraordinary ability to find their way. By detecting the Earth's magnetic field and utilizing it as a kind of GPS, pigeons can navigate through even the most intricate urban landscapes. Thanks to this ability, pigeons can effortlessly remember places with abundant food in these vast cities and return home safely without any difficulty. The last reason why pigeons have successfully coexisted with humans in these enormous cities is their intelligence. While a person with a bad memory might be called a birdbrain, you can't say that about pigeons. As briefly mentioned earlier, pigeons have an astonishing ability to precisely remember places with abundant food, even in complex environments. But that's not all. Surprisingly, pigeons can distinguish between people who are friendly to them and those who are hostile. According to an experiment conducted by a French research team and presented at the Society for Experimental Biology, pigeons readily approached people who had fed them but actively avoided individuals who had chased them away. The results were consistent even when the researchers changed their clothes. There are also research findings suggesting that, with training, pigeons can count up to 9 and classify pictures. However, the extent to which we should believe these findings is still a matter of debate. Anyway, the intelligence of pigeons is quite evident in their active utilization of human-made structures, following people who provide food, and adeptly avoiding obstacles like cars and bicycles. Cities are not exclusively human spaces. Just as dogs and cats coexist with humans in their own capacities, pigeons have taken on the role of competent urban janitors. A considerable amount of the trash discarded by humans is processed by pigeons. Scholars in the field argue that without urban pigeons, the population of rats in the streets would thrive, and the risk of spreading pathogens would increase significantly. In recent years, there seems to be a growing aversion to pigeons, possibly due to concerns about transmitting pathogens such as avian influenza. However, when sharing space, conflicts are inevitable, be it between humans or between humans and animals. Whether you like them or not, there seems to be no way to avoid pigeons in the city now. I, too, frequently encounter pigeons on my walks. Every time I encounter them, I can't help but think that, having adapted and survived alongside humans for thousands of years, pigeons too have a right to inhabit the city. Subscribing and liking the video are a great help. Thanks for watching.